Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tuesday Notary Titans for Tuesday, December 8th, 2020. My name is Bill Soroka. I'm the founder of notarycoach.com, and I am the author of the Sign and Thrive, How to Make Six Figures as a Mobile Notary and Loan Signing Agent, as well as co-author of Supercharge Your Notary Business with LinkedIn. It is my honor and pleasure to be with you here today. My co-hosts are Carol Ray, founder of Notary to Pro, and Laura Biewer, founder of CoachMeLaura.com. I think it's just going to be you and I, though, for the first few minutes anyway. Carol's going to be in the background whenever she can jump on, and Laura is running about 15 minutes late. So until then, it's just you and I look forward to helping you out any way I can. I see that we already have two people with their hands up, so I'm excited to get started. Let's do it. Neil, thank you for being here. If you could tell us what state you're in and how we can help.
Hi, my name is Neil. I'm in Arizona.
All right.
And I have two questions for you, Bill. The first question is, as my business starts to grow, I'm starting to do a lot more seller packages. And a lot of times when you have a seller package, the property itself may be in a different state. So on some of the documents, I noticed that a lot of times you may have two venues, especially if I'm doing a notarization. You have a venue in my notary block, and you may have a venue at the top of the page of the document. So I was just wondering who addresses that? If the state and county is incorrect, am I supposed to address that as a notary, or do I let the signer address that, or how does that work?
Great question. So the general rule of thumb is you are only responsible for the notarial certificate. And the notarial certificate venue is the only one that you're concerned with. So that is closest to where you're writing in your information, signing and stamping. The venue for the actual document, that might be representative of something else. Maybe it's the property address or something along those lines. So not typically your responsibility. Only the venue of the notarial certificate.
Okay, so even if, because I had a document, it was called the lien affidavit, but the very first sentence said, personally appear before me, the undersigned notary public, for the jurisdiction aforesaid. And it made it appear that that venue at the top was where this signing was taking place, but it wasn't. So you saying I should still just leave that alone if it's the wrong statement?
Not necessarily, because that in a document like that, where it does sound like the entire document
Right.
is the certificate, then that would fall under your venue and your responsibility. So yes,
Okay.
in that case. But it's rare that there would also be a venue. Again, the people who create these documents don't necessarily know notarial law or law at all. So it could show up anyway, but usually when there's a venue at the top, there's not a venue at the bottom. So then that means
Right.
notaries want to add a venue down below. So if that's the way the document reads, then I would interpret that also as being the venue for the document. So that needs to be clear where the signer physically appeared before you.
Right, exactly. Okay. My second question is when it comes to properties that are in California, is it automatic that when you notarize the grant deed that you notarize it with the acknowledgement from California?
So if you're an Arizona notary, your responsibility is to use a certificate that is legal in Arizona. Luckily, ours are pretty flexible here in Arizona.
Right.
You do not use a California, you can't use a California notarial certificate in Arizona.
Okay. So you're saying that what's included with the grant deed, I should not use that and just attach my own certificate?
No. So if they have included that, you're typically,
Right.
okay, California goes above and beyond. So you don't have to, you typically wouldn't have to do anything. You just have to make sure that the venue is correct.
Right, exactly. Okay, because the thing is, I used my Arizona certificate with a California property, and I was told that they needed me to do the California acknowledgement because it won't record unless it's the California acknowledgement.
So the
That's what I was
receiver,
told.
yeah, the receiver of the document determines that. So as long as it's in compliance with your state, which in Arizona, it's usually no problem, you could do that.
Okay, so if you were asked to correct that, what would be the correct way to fix that for Arizona?
You'd most likely, the best practice is to appear before the signer again and have the document completely re-signed and notarized again on the new date.
Right. Okay. Yeah, thank you. That's what I was thinking too.
All right. Good. And that's a little easier to do when there's no lender involved and it's not an entire loan package. You'll feel a lot of pressure from lenders sometimes to make changes, to backdate, make corrections and things like that. And that's all addressed individually in state statutes. So you got to be really aware of how you can make those corrections. In Arizona, it doesn't really get too detailed in that. And since it's just a grant deed, usually showing up and just rescheduling the appointment and meeting again is the ideal way to go on that.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome, Neil. Thanks for being here. All right, Carolina.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. This is Carolina. Actually, I'm based out of Orange County, California.
There.
And Bill, I want to tell you that I got your book, your LinkedIn, Supercharge Your LinkedIn Profile. I already read it. It's fantastic. I also bought the Laura Biewer Presents library, so I'm very excited about finishing that. So I'm a new upcoming notary. I'm waiting for my commission to come in any day now.
Okay.
But my question was really for Carol Ray. I do speak English and Spanish fluently, and I know she offers that Spanish speaking program. My question is, if I were to purchase that program, what should I be expecting? Is it with subtitles? I know there's a gentleman who does the translation. Is it him speaking fluent Spanish? So I just wanted to get more insight on how that course looks like.
I think that's a great question. Carol, do we have you on yet? I'm just checking to see if she's on here. Is Carol or Barbara? I don't think she's on here, Carolina. Is there anybody on the call right now that has taken the Spanish version of Notary to Pro that can speak to this in Carol's?
Hi, this is Xochitl. I'm also in Southern California, and I did purchase both the English and the Spanish Notary to Pro. And there really is no variance between the English and the Spanish version. It's one and the same. The most is you do get some Spanish terminology that's critical for the loan documents if you are advertising yourself as Spanish speaking.
And was it completely done in Spanish or was it subtitles?
Completely in Spanish, no subtitles.
Wonderful. Thank you so
With
much.
the exception of the knowledge check questions, those are remained in English.
Okay, wonderful.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Carolina, thank you so much for asking the question. Thanks for being here. And guys, Laura Biewer is now on. Laura, thank you so much for being here. How's it going?
Good. I'm
Good.
home now. Yay. Although as I pulled into my driveway, my phone had an emergency alert that said, stay at home.
Oh, well, perfect.
Got that stay at home order.
Yeah, I hear you guys.
So,
Really
we'll
going
see
crazy.
what's going to be happening here. They're shutting stuff down around me.
Anything you're excited about this week?
What am I excited about this week? Hanukkah is coming. Thursday night, first candle. And in order to accommodate COVID, I split up my family. And I have like one son and his wife coming first night, and a different son and his wife or his girlfriend coming second night, and my two brothers third night. So I had to spread them out because we are the three pods that kind of go together. But I am excited for that. And I only have one more gift to get. And then guess what? I'll be done with my shopping, and the rest of you doing Christmas. Good luck to you.
All right, awesome. Glad to hear that creative way to handle it. We'll roll on to, and I know you just said it and I still cannot pronounce it. I'm so sorry. Is it Shodel?
Soshi?
Soshi.
Yes.
It's
Hi.
so easy. Thanks.
No worries. Oh, squirrel. Sorry about that. Thanks for. I have more of a operational question than an actual notary question. I'm in a bit of I don't know if you want to call it a war with a signing service that I've contracted with. They sent me information asking me to redo some of the acknowledgements because I did not spell my name correctly. Yeah, so when they sent me a copy, I'm like, I'm not quite certain I understand what you're talking about. That is my name. That's how I signed. That's how I've signed all of my documents, and they're refusing to pay for that particular notary, and I think, I don't know if she said it in the heat of the moment, but now she's saying that they're going to file a complaint against me for that. And I'm so at a loss and kind of scratching my head that I don't know how much at this point, what to prepare for, what argument, what avenues I can take, etc.
So she help us understand. So there's an acknowledgement. You have your name on your stamp. You stamped it with the spelling of your name.
Correct.
You've signed your name. Do you sign it a special way that would lend confusion to this? What are we looking
No. My name is Xochitl with the middle initial M, last name Perez. And for whatever reason, this person has it in her head that I'm not spelling my name correctly, that my M's look like a W to her, and that's not how you spell Xochitl. And I'm like, and so I did answer kind of sarcastically, there's only 2 ways to spell Xochitl. I happen to have one way. I don't know where you came up with yours.
And your stamp is correct.
My stamp is correct. My commission number is correct. All of the, I looked at that loan packet because they sent me copies. And I'm like, I'm at a loss here. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to argue this.
Laura, what do you think on this? This is bizarre.
I think Legal Shield would help me explain to them their obligation to pay for the work that was done. You've got a stamp with your name spelled correctly. You printed your name in your acknowledgement matching your stamp, which is what they have to match. There's nothing more you can do other than to put a demand out. They've said they're not going to pay it, right? It's not like the check's in the mail or they haven't gotten to it. They're saying they're not going to pay it. Here's why. And do you have Legal Shield?
No, but I'm going to go look into it now.
Yeah, I think Carrie's on the call. She's one of many notaries who has it and actually sells it. But I would utilize that, or at least communicate with them that that would be your next step. That there's no way, there's nothing to do to fix, there's nothing wrong with your name. It's printed, it matches your stamp. If they're not going to pay it for the work done, you'll need to take your next steps available to you.
Okay. All right.
That would be my position,
And to
considering the
your
conversation you had.
to the best of your knowledge, Sochi, has this impacted the funding of the transaction? Has the lender not funded? Or have they just?
No, to my knowledge, no. I mean, the emails have been pretty nasty from them saying, you know, what level of stupid do you need to be that you can't spell your own name? This is going to delay the loan. That's been the language and the communications back and forth. You know,
that's not a relationship I want to have.
Yeah, I think the time for niceties and preserving the relationship are over. These are definitely not something that you're interested in working in. I would definitely advance this.
Right. And I'm not so, what's the word I'm looking for? Okay, I'm a little on the gun shy side. And predominantly because I've had quite a few different issues with them. And this is my first year of loan signings. And so I was playing nice in the sandbox with them, but no, I've reached that point. So
you're either in the wrong sandbox or they are. So I would definitely, there's no, here's the cool thing. I mean, I'm glad this is your first year. I love that you're getting signings, but there are amazing signing companies and amazing people to work with. There is no reason to put up with this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome.
I
Thanks
appreciate
for bringing
it.
that to us. That was interesting.
Yeah. For
Thanks.
sure.
Bye-bye.
Tony Mincy, so glad you're here. If you want to unmute and tell us what state you're in and how we can help. But don't forget to unmute first. Oh, where'd she go?
There she is.
Tony, I'm going to send you a message that's going to ask you to unmute.
There you go.
Yeah. Hi. How are you?
Excellent. Thanks.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. What state are you in?
Oh, okay. I'm in Georgia, Conyers, Georgia.
Right.
I have been a notary for a construction company for the last 2.5, almost 3 years. And I'm looking to transition out of that and just start my own business. So I'm gathering little nuggets of information each week that you have your Zoom call. And I find it extremely informative. But my question is getting started with my business. What steps do you recommend that I take first? I'm already registered, but I need to get certified as a signing agent.
Yes. Have you, so you are a commissioned notary already.
Yes.
So the way I lay it out, and I'll pass this over to Laura as well, and this is exactly the way I have it laid out in my Sign and Thrive book too. And if you don't want to buy the book, if you're not into books, I have a free.
No, I already, well, I purchased a few books already and the journal that you recommended. So I don't know what other books I'm supposed to get and read up on, if that would be helpful. But I received some books about starting six-figure income or something to that nature.
So Tony, I'm just gonna, so I'll just finish my sentence here.
I'm sorry.
The Sign and Thrive book, the How to Make Six Figures as a Mobile Notary and Loan Signing Agent,
Yes.
it is literally step by step on exactly what you need to do. And I break it into 5 phases. And if you work better with like an overview before you dive into the book, there's a free report on my website at notarycoach.com. Right on the top, it's like how to make $2,000 a month. It's just like a 2-page overview free report that gives you this overview. But here's what you got to do. And you're already at phase 1. Become a notary public in your state. Phase 2, you need to get certified as a loan signing agent from the National Notary Association. Sorry, guys, we got some background noise. And then exactly how to do that is all inside the book. It's in the free report. I give that information out for free. Phase 3, you got to learn how to do this job, right? So we got to learn the documents, the processes, the etiquette involved. It's a big chunk of the pie. That's the meat and potatoes of this whole business. And then after you learn how to do it, you got to go out and find customers, signing companies, escrow direct, whatever you might choose to do. That's what I call phase 4. It's my favorite because it's also personal development. It's also learning about yourself and becoming who you need to be a success at this. And then finally in phase 5, once you know what you're doing, you're certified, you've got customers, you got to manage that business. So that's what phase 5 is all about. Those are the exact steps that you are going to take. And if you have that free report, if you have the book, it will break each one of those down into what that next step is. For you, because you're already a commissioned notary, we got to look at the NNA loan signing certification. So you're either going to go directly to their website, and you're either going to decide if you want to take their training course, or if you just want to get access to the test and the criminal background check, which is what I recommend, for $65 or $70, I think they increased their price. And then cross that bridge, get your E&O insurance, and then move into phase 3 where we teach you how to do this. And you're going to choose a training course. You're either going to choose Notary to Pro, National Notary Association, or Sign and Thrive, or individual coaching from Laura, or there's actually lots of other training courses that have emerged as well. So you get to decide what that is. But
okay. So just to piggyback on what you just mentioned, I already registered with the NNA, and I like I said, I'm trying to plot my course so that I'm moving gradually or transitioning from working on a 9-to-5 and working on my own, so basically that's my concern. When you're running your own business, you have to stay on top of everything. Your time is your business, and you need to apply it accordingly. So that's basically where I am. I registered with the NNA. I believe I have some type of insurance already. I think my next step, in which I was going to apply for was the certification, the loan signing certification course, to make sure that I'm actually certified under the NNA umbrella, and go from there.
So I just want to add something, Tony. I think I
Mhm.
heard you say you're in Georgia.
Yeah.
So you're going to want, I think, to hook up with people in Georgia, notaries in Georgia through Notary to Pro. They have graduates in Georgia. People on this call might be from Georgia. There are some specific things that you need to be aware of that are different for you because it's an attorney state. And Georgia has a statement that basically says they don't care where the property is, doesn't matter where the document is filed, you are in an attorney state. So you're going to want to make relationships with attorneys, right? So
Right.
that you can get, or signing companies that work with attorneys. So that's a focus that you'll want to put on your list of things to do so that you're in compliance within your state.
Okay, great. That's great information. I didn't think about that, so I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Definitely. And to piggyback on that, Samantha Smith has the Georgia Notary Network. I highly recommend you get dialed in with what she's got going on there, because they share information, and that's really what you're looking for. You know, when I first started in this industry, the cards were held really close to the chest. It was hard to find anybody who would share information. Those days are beyond us now. We have access to tons of information. There's amazing people on calls like this sharing information. So I would get dialed in for sure. And then just know that there's a lot of people, Tony, in your situation. There's a lot of people who are starting this. They're planning for retirement. They're planning to transition from their job because they just don't enjoy it anymore. Whatever the reason is, they've got a full-time job. They go through the same steps. You got to go through the same steps anyway, because if you don't learn how to do it, you're not going to be able to do it. If you don't learn how to find customers, then you're not ever going to have the results or the data you need to make the transition. So all the steps are the same, but you get to scale it to wherever you're at in life. And that's what's really cool. The flexibility of this business is one of the key attractors. So you're right there. And if there's anything I can do, Tony, too, to help you, coach you through personally, feel free to hit me up via text message, and you can schedule a call with me as well. Okay.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank
you. Thanks for being here.
I'm here, I'm watching, I'm listening.
Oh, great. Welcome, Carol. All right. We got, let's see, Rachel Browder. I feel like I just saw you.
We did. We just saw each other.
Yep.
Hi, I'm in Tennessee, and my question is about attaching a loose certificate. So I understand that if the wording needs to be changed or something like that, that I would typically attach a loose certificate. But in a loan package, is it appropriate to staple pages together, or is that not something I should do? And then I should make sure that like the loose certificate says like this is for such and such document.
Carol, do you feel like chiming in on that one?
Sure. First of all, when you do attach a separate certificate, make sure that you have one that has the verbiage at the bottom that states that this document or this acknowledgement or jurat is to be attached to a specific document.
Okay.
If you do that, I don't recommend stapling it. Just put it behind that document. It makes it easier for the people when they receive the documents.
Okay, and then it would just have a blank line and I would put what document it was attached to?
Well, there are some, like we have in our library for our graduates, we have a form that you can use. It's just a regular standard acknowledgement. And at the bottom, it says this acknowledgement belongs to, and it's the name of the document that you're attaching it to with the date. And if there's any other signers that maybe didn't appear before you, but that are on that document itself. And it's important that you do that so that they know and are limited to attaching it to just that one. You don't want to attach separate acknowledgements or jurats to something without it being identified with another, with the document that it belongs to, or they could use it on anything, and that's
Right, okay.
dangerous.
And
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
The NNA provides that as well, right, Laura, if for members?
Yes, if you're a member of the NNA, you can go to the website, log in with your credentials and download any certificate for any state, all the different certificates that may be available for that state. And
Okay,
you can
and then-
save them or you can print them to carry with you.
And then I know I'm not a member of the NNA at this time, but I know that they have bundles where you can purchase that. Is that a
You
similar?
can purchase pre-printed ones, yes.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Rachel. Kristen, thanks for being here. If you could tell us what state you're in.
California, San Diego.
All right. How's it going today?
Good. I just purchased Laura Biewer's, forgot what it was called. It was on your website.
LBP.
BP. Yeah, great.
Good stuff. My confusion is when I go to your website, Laura, there's other trainings and I have to log in and stuff. I'm like, I can't log in. So what's the difference? What am I missing?
Yeah, so they are different trainings. So on my website, there are 2 Zoom live classes that are one-time classes. That one is polishing your presentation skills at the table for loan signing agents. And then the other one is basic notary law and that's really basic. So really for notaries who are newer or notaries who live in a state that doesn't provide training at all. And those are those 2 items. The LBP is actually a pre-recorded library, and there are about 10 different videos on different specialty subjects that are everything outside of loan signings. And that one you buy once and you can download and watch the videos over and over again, or any parts of the videos you want. And you continue to have access, for forever basically, whereas the classes are one time. And to get to LBP, that's hosted on Bill's site at notarycoach.com. Whereas the other 2 classes are on my site directly. And so the class is not on the site. You can't access it that way if you pay for the class. There's a video there that says you need to reach out to me. We're going to schedule a 2-hour window together. And that's how we would proceed.
Okay.
And then I send you the materials.
So to access LBP, you just go to your Notary Coach library. So it's notarycoach.com/login.
Oh yeah, I know that. I've watched them all. I've almost watched all of them already. I think it's
Great.
3 days. But I just, I kind of wanted to, the thought is, and I've kind of dialed this and pedal back a little bit. So I do want to do loan signings, but I also want to do general notary work because I feel like the risk is there that Laura has spoken about, and it's on my mind. I don't want to be doing all these, refis through these signing companies and then try to get over into the title side and then the real estate industry goes south. Like, I've already lived through that. Personally, I was a loan officer when it happened. So it's a kind of a scary place to be. So I kind of want to train on both sides, and I don't know if I really need to have yours and her training. I don't know how far to go with this.
Yeah.
Well, if you're talking about the specialty work, you've got everything I have regarding the specialty work. And those videos are assuming you know how to notarize, that you're confident and competent at notary law itself. And that I'm talking about, okay, here's a way to leverage your commission to do this specialty kind of venue or specialty kind of document. Whereas my live classes are pretty much how to do the job itself of being a notary before you try to do it in a hospital or somewhere else. If you're thinking about doing loan signing work as well, that's one of my specialties. So let's just talk about COVID. All right, so COVID happened, and a lot of notaries who are certified to do loan signings said, I'm not going out. They're older, somebody in their family was sick, somebody in their family is high risk, and they stopped doing loan signings back in March, April. And some of them haven't even returned yet. As a result, and of course, I had to stop going to hospitals, jails, skilled nursing. That was closed off to me. So something that was 80% of my business just dried up. Now, temporary, because now I've ended up going back a few times. So what did I need to do? I needed to see what else is my specialty. What can I still do? I still was doing NSA work. I was just a smaller percentage. So now guess what? That ballooned up because there's plenty of space and plenty of jobs to be done because there's not enough of us to do them. And I'm booked 7 days a week, wall to wall. And I would probably tell you that right now, my business is sitting 60-40. It's 60% loan signings and 40% specialty work because I had to adjust. And so the thing is, I had to adjust the first time out of NSA into specialty, and now I had to adjust a little out of specialty and over into NSA. And what gave me that ability is that I do it all, right? I don't just do NSA, I don't just do specialty work. NSA is one of my specialties. And that way I have the ability to navigate the market. It doesn't matter what's going on. Somebody needs something notarized, right? Whether it's a real estate document or a POA or something, somebody's going to need my services. And that's why I think it's so important that you know as many different things, venues and specialties as possible so that you can maneuver and change on a dime. Sometimes you got to pivot today. So if you got to do that, can you do that? That's really my point. And I'm living it because I had to pivot.
Yeah, that's the idea. Okay, well, that gives me an idea of how to approach. I guess I need to, because I'm at step 8 there and I need to go to step 2. Something like that.
Yeah, if you're not certified doing loan signing, I would get it done because even if the market starts slowing down, those who are in it, those who are doing it now are the ones that have the relationships, are the ones that are going to keep doing it, right? It's the people that come in behind us.
I'm not a notary yet, so I'm working on all that stuff.
Okay, well then get at the beginning and get that done. Start at step 1.
Yeah.
I want to get the ground running.
Without a doubt, you are. You're really preparing. Thanks, Kristen.
Yep.
All right, Randy Venters, thanks for being here. You want to unmute? Tell us what state you're in and how we can help.
My name's Randy. I'm in Washington. I'm a fairly new commissioned notary, and I've already passed the loan signing course with, or loan signing certification with the NNA. 2 basic questions. Well, I have 3 questions, 2 basic ones. On supplies, I need a embosser or just an ink stamp.
Sounds like you've been shopping for health insurance.
Sorry, we got some people that are unmuting. Sorry, guys, please keep yourself on mute. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Randy.
All right, so 2 basic supply questions. The first one being, do I need an embosser or just an ink stamp, and when would I use an embossing stamp?
Great. Laura, I'm going to pass that one over to you.
Of course you are. So the first thing I'm going to ask you, Randy, is what is your stamping requirement in Washington? Do you have to have an ink, photographically reproducible ink stamp?
Yes.
Okay, so then the embosser, which is not a photographically reproducible seal, becomes an optional tool. And if your state allows you to have more than one seal, then I'll tell you how I'm using it in California. I use it for foreign documents because they want to see my seal on all pages, and I'm not allowed to do that. So my ink seal goes on the certificate, and the embosser goes in the corner of all the pages so that the foreign country getting it knows that I handled every one of those pages. They can count on that, not just the certificate page. The other time, and of course I can do it upon request. If somebody just asked me, do you have one of those? Military documents, there are certain military documents that require it, and I've had to pull it out for that. So I don't use it often, but for myself, I have found it several times that I would have to turn down a job if I didn't have it.
Okay, and I've seen some videos or other people recommending doing the like foil sticker and printing on those. Is that?
Yeah, that's not considered photographically reproducible. If that's the standard in your state, then that is not photographically reproducible. It doesn't scan well, is what I'm saying. Like for the recorder's office.
All right. Okay. Second question, as far as, so I'm looking at doing more, or getting into the loan signing. As far as paper goes, I'm seeing a lot of variation prices between different vendors and different stores. Is there a big difference in paper and quality, and are companies, you know, are they picky about the paper that they receive?
No. Short answer is you can buy the standard copy paper. It doesn't have to be a certain bond or anything like that. I mean, you wouldn't want to go down to like 1-ply tissue, right? Tissue paper or anything like that. But Just a basic copy.
20 pound.
Okay.
20 pound is typical copy paper, brightness at 90. That's your typical copy paper. And then I just hunt down the best prices because it moves around.
Yeah.
You know, so sometimes Costco is the great price, and sometimes there's a big sale and I can buy 2 and get a whole case free. It just depends on, you know, where I can find the best price.
And this is where being dialed into a community, whether it's training or some of the online forums where they share information, and share coupons, can be really valuable for you as well.
All right, thank you. And then the last question, do you guys have, or actually 2 more questions. One is, Laura, can you talk about kind of your live training and your, which you already did a little bit, but, and then the loan signing training that you do?
So the 2 live classes, Randy, one is called At the Table, and it's for people who are already certified. They were certified with somebody. Mark Wills, Bill Soroka, Carol Ray, the NNA. And what they're holding back on is they feel not confident about presenting their documents to the client. And they're also looking for tips on how to do that during COVID, because I've changed my procedure to accommodate that. And it's about a 2-hour course that starts with, I get the phone call, do I want to take the job, all the way to the billing and getting payment. And it's about a 2-hour live class. I use sample documents and I present documents to you as if you're the borrower. So you really get that sense of rhythm of working simultaneously with your borrower instead of you working, then they're working. So that's what that one's about. The other one is the application of whatever notary law you learned. So we learn it in theoretically and we read the books, but there's really no application. So my class is about applying it. So we lightly go over it first, and then we start pulling out documents, and I start doing state specific to your state. And I go through documents and I show you, okay, where's the certificate? How did I find it? What kind is it? Can you use it in your state? What are your options? Can I fix it? Do I have to replace it? And I go through that application process and decision tree for about 8 to 10 different documents, so that by the time you're done, you can figure it out for yourself. When you see a document you haven't seen before, what's the first thing I need to look for? What's the next thing I need to do? And that's about a 2-hour live class as well. And that, again, has 8 to 10 sample documents in it.
And where do we find that?
Both classes can be found at coachmelaura.com.
There's links in the chat, by the way.
Thank you, Bill.
All right, and then last question, do you guys offer or have a good recommendation for RON training?
Well, what I'm going to say is the NNA does have some RON training for specific states. I don't know if Washington is one of them. You would have to check. And since RON is not legal in my state, then I'm really not familiar with who's doing training on that right now.
And for me, I know there's some emerging RON training coming up. I'm really looking forward to being able to recommend some of those. But right now, because RON is so state specific, and then on top of the state specific legal issue, it's platform specific. So the platforms that you actually use can make a huge difference in your training. So it's been really, some of the training that's out there is great for the law component, but it's not necessarily practical because it doesn't teach you how to use the platform on it. So it's kind of hit or miss right now. So I wish I had more information for you. Like some people in the chat are saying Synix. Synix by far has the best customer support that I've heard as far as platforms go. And it still has lots of room for improvement. So I don't have a specific one for you.
I think, Bill, you hit it on the nose. There's the bigger picture of what RON's about and how it works in general. And that could be like an NNA course. And then you have to choose a platform, and that platform you have to learn specifically their requirements.
Thank you, Bill and Laura. This is Carol again.
Yes,
I
Carol.
understand that Notarize is now going to waive any initial fees. I haven't reached out to one of the creators yet. I've got his number and I meant to do that, but I've heard that from a couple of my graduates.
Thank you. Good.
Great. Thank you for sharing that.
All right, Randy, I hope that is helpful. Thank you so much for all the great
Yeah,
questions.
thank you very much.
All right, Regina Kennedy, thank you so much for being here. Unmute, tell us what state you're in and how we might be able to help today.
Hello, everyone. I am from Dallas, Texas. And my question is, I used to live in Fort Worth. And when I started my notary business last year in May, everything that I signed up and did for my general notary work was for Fort Worth, was for the Fort Worth area. My Google My Business, my Bing, YP, Yellow Pages. Well, now that I've moved to Dallas Uptown area, I've been going in and updating that information to reflect my new area because I'm not covering that county anymore. It's about a 30-mile difference from where I am. But it still seems that people are still finding my name somehow associated with Fort Worth and Tarrant County. And I'm not sure where else to look or what anybody who has moved, what they can recommend to do to try to get everything to sync up.
Great question and an awesome problem to have, Regina. So I think I would love to see if anybody has experience with this in the chat window. Please feel free to blow that up. And then I will also, from a search engine optimization perspective, let you know that there is a transition time too for these spiders or bots to confirm information. So I don't know how long it's been for you, but sometimes
it's been a month and it's been a month and a half. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's in the world of SEO, that's nothing. So it probably would take, and sometimes in metropolitan areas, it can take a little bit longer. Just as long as it took to ramp it up, it can sometimes take to change it and to shift everything and to get things updated. So it could be 3, 4, 5, I don't know about 6 months, but it very well could be. So that may just take a little bit of time there. And I'm assuming, of course, that you've already gone through all your directories and updated those too. And here's the other thing too, is sometimes there are other databases and companies that scrape the information previously, and they have built their own directories of notaries too. So you could, without even knowing it or having anything to do with it, be on other people's directories and websites. So there's not a whole lot you can do about those things.
Okay, I appreciate that. I mean, in some areas it has updated, in some it has not. Then there's sometimes I find somewhere where I still have Tarrant County listed in something that I thought I cleared up. So I was curious because it just seems to be kind of like a nightmare, just trying to figure out where it is, but it's gradually updating. So I just wanted to see if anybody had any suggestions. And what you said, it does make sense because now that we're in the pandemic, even Google My Business will say it can take a minute for changes to update. And I'm noticing some things are taking longer than normal to update.
Of course, definitely.
Regina.
You know what I see here too is and Laura, I was actually going to pass this over to you. I see a great opportunity for networking and sharing. Laura, is that where you were going?
That's where I was going. And Linda also said it in the chat is, instead of saying, I am not in that area anymore, who are notaries that are in that area that you have a relationship with that you could pass them on to, refer the work to other notaries, because that's how we get the work sharing back and forth.
I have to get some new notaries because the ones that I've been passing, even my title work to, the title company will call me back and say they never answer the phone or they don't respond. So yes, I understand. I've been trying to do that, but unfortunately, I've run into the case where some people, may not be available to do the work, or they say they're ready to take the work and they may not really be ready. But I definitely try to pass it on when I can.
Awesome.
But thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Lula's iPhone's in the house. Lula, you want to unmute? Tell us what state you're in and how we can help.
Hi, Bill. Hi, everyone. I am from Pennsylvania. Okay. And I just, number one, want to say that new notary journal that you recommended is a life changer. Awesome. I swear it's a life changer because I am not having to write every single document, because sometimes I have 10 documents that I've notarized and I have to literally write out every single document. On this journal, there's a nice checkoff box, which makes it amazing. Amazing. It saves so much time because I'm spending sometimes an extra 15, 20 minutes there just so I can finish notarizing. So I just want to say that is number one.
Awesome. I'm going to put a link to that. Clive did a really good job on that. And
Oh,
because you're not in California, you're probably okay to use that journal. But again, we always say check with your state statutes to make sure the journal is compliant for you.
I believe, yeah, it is, because I mean, I just looked at what my state requires. We don't have to have the ID and write out the ID, and we don't have to have the people sign. So
beautiful.
That's a great part.
And Bill, Clyde is working on a California one.
Yeah, he's got that. He's planning to bring that out in 2021.
Oh, I tell you, when I saw that, I just put my other journal off. I was thinking, I'm just locking you up in the safe. I don't want to have anything to do with you anymore. The other question that I have now, I don't know if you'll be able to answer this or not, is in doing a reverse mortgage, some documents that I received that the person had to sign had a lot to do with like earned income tax withholding, where, you know, of course, these are usually older people and they're not employees or employers. So I just got some weird documents, and I'm just not sure if that is standard, if it's standard in your state or it's standard anywhere else to have this done.
Well, it's I wouldn't say that it's standard, but what is standard is that each loan file is its own separate entity, and it can have any type of document that the lender might require. Now, I will tell you that, and you may have experienced this already, that reverse mortgages tend to use more boilerplate template type documents than I've ever seen anywhere else. So maybe for that particular state, maybe for that particular lender, it's just a template, and so they may not apply. But the general expectation is that if they've included it, they're expecting it to be signed. And if there's any question about that, if the borrower is ever confused, the only thing that we can really do is contact the lender and get clarification, or have the borrower contact the lender. Carol, I know you're also equally as passionate about reverse mortgages. Would you have any other advice?
No, my training is from the perspective of how we treat the people from the moment we walk in the door until we walk out. My experience in doing hundreds of them, excuse me, is that the loan officers are the best in the country. They really care, and they do so much of the giving the counseling and help with them with as far as the documents are concerned, that I don't concern myself with those. I'm just concerned with making these people feel comfortable and confident in the notary. So that's really my perspective on it. That's the important thing for me, and for my students.
Wonderful. Totally agree. That's a beautiful thing about this particular loan product, is that clientele and being able to provide that for them. Lula, did that help?
Yes, that did help. Yeah, that definitely helped a lot. But this is my other question, and I'm sure many of you have faced this. If you're at a signing and the client refuses to sign certain documents, and they can refuse to sign, okay, this is not what I agreed upon with my closing, on the closing CD, so I'm not going to sign that, but I'm going to sign maybe all the other documents. I don't know if I can't give advice to that, because they are asking me, well, should I sign the rest of the documents and not sign the CD? And I try to reach out to the agent, agents are not available. No one's answering the phone in the time that I'm there with the signer. So what do you say to that?
Yeah, great question. I think we're going to run into this on occasion for sure. I tend to like to communicate directly with the borrowers, and I just ask them, all right, so this is what I know of these types of situations. You tell me, is this a deal breaker? Like, do you not want to continue with the signing if since these numbers aren't right? What are you most comfortable with? And let them tell me. And they may ask what the implications are. I don't know what the implications are. I know that if we don't sign this, then obviously this won't get closed, but maybe they'll get it rescheduled or whatever it might be. Laura, do you have a different scenario for these or a different way of handling it?
No, I same thing as you. I asked them, you know, how do you want to proceed? I can't direct them, but if they say, well, I want to sign everything else, but I don't want to sign this, it's not a notarized document. And so if they don't want to sign that, I'm not there to force them to sign it. I can, if you want to sign the other ones and not that one, that's fine. I'm here to notarize it. I'll take care of it for you. I'll put a note on it that says, hey, there was an issue with this, and they can work it out with the title company after I'm gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's assuming they want to sign the other documents.
Right, right. Okay. And as a notary, am I supposed to get paid for that for the signing, or am I not paid for it? I just want to know how to address that.
That should be negotiated up front with whoever's hiring you. Either they offer a trip fee, or they say they're going to pay you regardless, or whatever, but you should know that before you go out on the job, in case that happens to you. What's going to be the implication of that? Am I going to get paid? Some of them have, like, if you're there the whole time and the only and it falls apart after that, you get paid your full fee. If it falls apart soon after you get there, they might say, hey, you're only going to get a travel fee and a print fee. So it depends on who hired you. And if it's title direct, a lot of times you don't get paid because there's no signing service to suck up the trip fee, right? If it falls apart, who's going to pay you? Bill, do you find title pays regardless?
Absolutely. So that my experience is a little bit different. And I think that's one of the cool perks of Escrow Direct too, is trust me, guys, they have the slush fund. They have a general operating fund. They can pay you and they will pay you. And then sometimes though, these signings that fall apart one day, they come together the next day. So I don't necessarily charge my full fee. And then if they want me to go out, I charge another full fee. I'm in it for the long haul, for the relationship. So maybe I don't charge them. Maybe I showed up, I did everything I could, it still fell apart. And then the borrowers had a meltdown, and then the next day they're fine and they sign. I just take that one signing fee. I don't worry about it. I'm thinking of the long-term relationship.
Yeah.
So, but they always take care of me. And that's the beautiful part. When you work with somebody who values you and appreciates you and recognizes the value you bring to the table, they understand that you've cleared your schedule, you drove there, you showed up, you did what they paid you to do, to show up, and then it still didn't work, so you get compensated. That's how it's supposed to work.
Right, but you might want to find out how it's going to work, because not every signing company plays by the same rules.
That's the challenge. Yep, exactly. Lula, thank you so much. Those are great questions, and thanks so much for spreading the word on Clyde's Integrity Journal. I put a link in the chat window for you. Guys, we got about 7 more minutes. Miranda Belthrop, you are up. It's so great to see you here. What's going on? Don't forget to unmute.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
That's all right.
I will keep it brief. I guess at what point, I'm with Legal Shield, you know, there's always somebody that owes me money. And I don't know how to keep track of these people that owe me money. It's a direct, it's 3 months and they owe me a lot of money. So at what point would you turn them over to a Legal Shield? Like say, hey, you got, you know, I'm very nice, you know, and I say, hey, you know, I really need this, you know, it's one excuse after another. Now it was the W-9, and I was like, my W-9's okay. I have no other problem with anybody else. Where's my money? You know, it's just like excuse after excuse.
So I'm sorry, we're getting some interruption here, guys. Please make sure that you are always staying on mute, Miranda. And you're kind of breaking in and out, but it sounds like somebody owes you money. They've owed you for 90 days now. So Laura, I know we get to talk about this quite a bit. Can you just real quick maybe summarize the steps that you take to escalate payment
Okay,
demands?
so I start out with, first of all, I start out with having a tracking system that allows me to know that it's late. And I also know what my agreement time frame is with that company, because different companies have different agreement times. So assuming those two things are knocked out of the way, when I get past that agreement time, my first reach out is, hey, I noticed that I wasn't able to close this file out. I don't show payment yet. Could you take a look and see what's happening on your end? Perhaps it's an oversight on my side. Give me the information if you've already sent me payment. And then I wait for some response. And if the response is, oh yeah, we're going to send that check, but then nothing still happens, usually I give at least a week, business days, before I reach out again. To say, hey, yeah, we talked, and I'm doing this email, so I have a record. We talked about this. You said, hey, you did owe me the money and you were getting it out. Did something happen that, did somebody go out sick, that a check couldn't be cut? Again, I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt that they're not doing this on purpose. Once I get past like 30 days, past the 30 or 45 days I was supposed to wait in the first place, now my tone is a little bit different. And I'm going to say, look, we've had conversations. I'm needing to be paid for this. I would love for you to get this check out to me. And if I receive it by such and such a date, we're good. In the meantime, one, I don't want to take any more jobs from them because I don't want to get deeper in the hole. And second, I go to my legal shield and I ask for a demand letter. And the demand letter is basically going to say, look, you agreed that you owe the money, and you have 30 days from the date of this letter to get it paid. Otherwise, the client, me, is going to take, the appropriate legal steps. And of course, there's like a million attorneys at the top. So first two times are about, hey, maybe something fell through the cracks. The third time is, I'm going to be taking this legal step. And their fourth communication is from my attorneys.
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. And then one more thing I just wanted to share with you. I did land a presentation. I picked February for the hospital. I will be going over wills and trusts and things of that nature with your presentation. So I'm so happy about it. Hey. Okay.
Well, congratulations. That's huge.
I'm so excited. I'm so geeked, if that's the word. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Miranda, and good luck. Please keep us posted on that. Yes.
I see we only have a couple minutes, and I want to mention this before we say, hey, goodbye, everybody, because I saw it in the chat. The videos for the Notary Symposium have been created, and those paid attendees, an email went out today for you with a link specifically for you to reach out, to get to the location where they're hosted and have access. And you can have access multiple times, and you can watch one or all of the videos. There's one video for each speaker for that content. So we know that because we send it out in mass, some of them get bounced. Some of you may not open it thinking it's not anything important. If you're expecting to get something for videos, please open this. It's from info@notarysymposium.com. Second remark is, I've had questions about, well, I'm not a paid attendee, but I'd like to hear these speakers. Can I buy it? The answer is yes. We're working on that. There's going to be a second announcement with the availability of those speakers for those who did not attend. Now, you won't get to participate or see anything else that happened that day, but you would have access to the 6 speakers. So that should be coming in the next week. But today, starting today, attendees have access to those videos.
Fantastic. That was an awesome event. And we'll go ahead and wrap up here, guys. And I just want to say, I see there's lots of questions that have come through the chat, and some of them were direct to me. Guys, I am not a multitasker, so I can't look at the chat either. So if I have missed you, I'm not doing it just to ignore you. But if you're part of Sign and Thrive, on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, we meet for office hours and coaching calls, and you are all welcome to join there if you're part of Sign and Thrive. If I can help you individually, please don't hesitate to book a coaching call with me. And I know Laura and Carol are available to their students as well. Carol, Laura, thank you so much for the time that you take out of your busy weeks to be here with us. And to those who have joined for the call, thank you so much for growing yourself and your business on a Tuesday afternoon. We will see you. Oh, one last thing. Guys, next week will be the last TNT of the year. The three of us are taking off the 22nd and the 29th. So next week, that's it for entire 2020 of TNT. All right, so hopefully I'll see you guys there. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you later.
Thank you. Welcome.